back to another episode of the Drunk Bond Podcast with your host, James St. John Smythe. Boom, let's just get right into it. Okay? This is very serious stuff. To the point, because we're dealing with a very serious movie today. From Russia with Love. A movie what some call the greatest Bond movie of them all. But is it? I don't know. But surely this movie and Casino Royale are the two popular picks these days for the greatest Bond movie of all time. I don't agree with it. But we're going to knock it out today, and we're going to see how St. John Smythe feels about this movie. Speaking of St. John Smythe, speaking of your host, I'm sipping a little cocktail today. After all, it's the Drunk Bond Podcast, for Christ's sake. I'm having a little gin and lavender tonic. And you're thinking, St. John Smythe, what in the fuck kind of sorcery and witchcraft you got going on at your house right now? I know. We had it at some random bar a while back. It was like, my wife wanted Saint Germain. They didn't have it. She said, do you have anything like kind of floral, kind of springy, since we're in the spring now? And she said, we have like a lavender kind of syrup. And it was delicious. Long story short, we got to go to fucking Amazon and buy some lavender blossoms and like this blueberry flower whatever. And now we got lavender syrup. And that's my lavender syrup story. Did you like it? And it's actually a delicious drink. It's your usual gin and tonic, but with like a little floral touch in there. It's goddamn delicious. Just had a pina colada before this. We went to the pool. That's right. Back to fun drinks. Back to my fighting weight. I can have the fun stuff again. Tried a new recipe today. It was goddamn delicious. And I put a little Blackwell rum floater on top. So, you know, your boy's coming in hot to this podcast. As I should. It's a big movie. It's a big time movie. And I had to come prepared. I had to come as advertised. From Russia with Love. And by the way, before we get started, Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, you know, the corporation that we're a part of. And if you're not listening to them, then what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing here? Stop what you're doing, take a few weeks off work, and knock out every episode in the whole network. And if I find out that you skipped a few, you and I are going to have a fucking problem. You got it? Okay? You got Slycast, that's about Sylvester Stallone, obviously. Dolph Lundgren, the Rocky Minute, they're doing Rocky 3. What's more fun than Rocky 3, right? The Rocky guys and girl, they're just starting right over. They just finished Creed 2, and they're just going to do the Rocky movies again. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Once I ran out of the Bond movies, I'm just doing them again. But yeah, they're knocking out the Rocky movies again. And Ryan's doing Rambo. So give that a listen. I was actually on one of Ryan's, I don't know what show I was on. I don't know where I was. But I know that I was talking to Ryan at some point about Invasion USA starring Chuck Norris. I don't know what show I was on, so good luck finding it. But I was on something. I don't know what he was thinking having me on, but he had me on, and I appreciate it. There's also another one, podcast about Arnold. Anything you need, we got it. What more do you want? Don't go looking for other podcasts. We have it all. It's enough. Mel Gibson. As of today, we just got something about a 90s action movie. You know, I don't know who these people are, but they're doing a 90s action movie podcast. So that covers a lot of things. So we're covering all the bases. We used to have a Steven Seagal podcast. I'm not sure what happened to them. I think I heard that they were stealing office supplies. Caught them red-handed. And they just, you know, you got to go. You know, we run a pretty tight ship over here. And that, you know, theft, thievery, we're not going to put up with it. But enough about them. I'm not just going to sit here and plug those other fucking dudes all day. Let's get back to me. Let's get back to number one, the Drunk Bond Podcast. Going with From Russia with Love today. Released in 1963. Terrence Young, I think he did Dr. No as well. And the budget was like doubled for this movie. Of course, it was only upwards to go. For Dr. No, they were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give you $100 to make that movie. Thanks, guy. I was kind of confused about whether this had anything to do with it. JFK listed it as one of his top 10 books, From Russia with Love. And they published that like in Time magazine or some big magazine in the 60s. And it was a turning point for Fleming, I know that. Or Fleming in America. Because maybe he was selling well in the UK, but it was doing like okay in America. And then once JFK listed that, then it went up. And I don't know if they made the movie because of that or not, but anyway, they made the fucking movie. That's the final product. That's what happened. And that's all I'm really going to say about it right now. So let's just get started. We get a gun barrel. And our first PTS. Let's talk about that PTS. So, you got fake card sense. We don't know he's fake. But you got fake card sense running around some garden or something. I'm not sure why he's running around, but it's not really for me to judge. And some other blonde-haired dude is chasing after him too. Or he's running from him. They're playing a little game of cat and mouse. Hide and go seek, I think. And fake Bond shoots a gun. And Grant's like, boy, that sounds an awful lot like real ammo. You didn't by any chance put live ammunition in that gun and not blanks, did you? So he doesn't like that. So he just strangles fake Bond. And we learn that it's just like a training exercise at this mansion. And I guess in the training exercise, they actually kill humans. Exactly 1 minute and 52 seconds. That's excellent. And Grant's like, yes, I know. 1 minute 52. That's the mark. That's what we all shoot for. 152. You don't have to explain that to me. And here's a little fun fact. They take off the Connery mask. They had to add a mustache to that guy because he looked too much like Sean Connery underneath the mask. So they added a mustache so the audience knew that wasn't Sean Connery. Boy, I knew I was in trouble about halfway through that fun fact. Well, that was a fun fact, wasn't it? I bet you were on the edge of your fucking seat listening to that one. Hey, that's your story now. You can tell that at social gatherings, parties. You'll be the hit of the party with a story like that. You're really gonna knock them dead out there. I like this pre-title sequence. It's just after Dr. No, you cut to this movie, and it's like, whoa, like clearly there's a huge group of people wanting to kill James Bond specifically, and then they got this this training exercise, and then it just fades out to that. It's the best transition from pre-titles to titles in the whole series, I think. The first one, they do it the best. So, write that down. That, you'll be quizzed on this later. That's the best one. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. Sorry. And we cut to the title sequence. The song's okay. It's not my favorite. Matt Monroe, I think is his name. I don't know anything about that guy. Everyone always thinks that's Frank Sinatra. It's okay, and like the title sequence is okay. They're working out the kinks, guys. It's the second movie. Don't be so hard on them. They wouldn't be hard on you, so don't be hard on them. They're giving it their best. And we got to the first scene. It's a henchman named Kronstein. He's playing chess. Just creeping up everyone's day. He's a creepy guy, man. And this message comes from Spectre via a cocktail coaster. Why do they have these coasters? Honest to God. How often do they use them? How often are they delivering message via coaster? You answer me that? And in the book, I remember, he almost debates just leaving the game midway through. Like he's like a national chess player. That's how urgent it is. Like if Spectre calls for you, you need to leave now. I don't know why it's so urgent. You can't wait 5 minutes? Like none of our operatives are being tortured down the hallway. Do I have to leave right now? And sure enough, he goes to number ones and he's like talking about fish or some bullshit with Rosa Klebb. It's like, so clearly I didn't need to like rush over here. You're just bullshitting about fish. I don't care. And sure enough, meets with Klebb and number one, and he's talking about the fish. And Klebb's like, yeah, I really don't give a shit about the fish. Who are we killing? Can you get to the killing part, the murder, or the revenge, or the extortion, counterintelligence? What are we doing today? So Kronstein reveals that the plan is to steal the Lecter decoding machine. I guess it can like decode messages from country to country or whatever. I don't know. It's a valuable thing though. That's all you need to know. And there's one in Istanbul, Turkey, and they're going to use a female agent of Russia with the assistance from Great Britain for killing Dr. No. And they will also want to film him having sex for some reason. That's not a joke. They just like throw that in there. Yeah, we're going to like film him banging too. Okay. You sure you just don't have like a crush on this dude too? Why do you want to see that? Weirdo. You got some demons there, Kronstein? Something you want to tell us? And they're going to use Klebb, who defected from the Soviets, and they didn't tell anybody. So the girl, Tatiana, thinks she's still working for Mother Russia. She doesn't know she's actually going to be working for Spectre here. And we don't ever really see Kronstein after this. I like Kronstein. I mean, I like a good creep. Who doesn't like a good creep? And that Tatiana girl. We have found a girl. Her loyalty to the state is beyond question. Can you say that again so that we all remember? Her loyalty to the state is beyond question. Can I get that in writing? And number one's like, Kronstein, you're sure this plan is foolproof? Oh yeah. There is literally nothing that can go wrong. And number one's like, well, I guess we can just start celebrating now, right? Champagne? You want some? Number 9, give me some champagne over here. Kronstein just called it. We already won. Battle's over. So we cut to the main henchman, Red Grant. He's getting a rub down, as you do in these movies. Everyone's always getting a rub down. And Kleb picks him out from this like camp of like fucking menace where they're using like live ammo and live targets and they're just killing people. It's like, this is, you lose a lot of men. You lose half your staff just training people. You know what? I'm starting to think they don't value human life. That's what I think. I can't prove it. That's what I think. And Kleb lands and it's, welcome to Spectre Island. And just tells him how great Red Grant is. We absolutely fucking love this guy. He's a homicidal paranoia. Methods are a bit crude. In the book, he just kills like animals at night, just like for fun. He has like a bloodlust. Like a true psychopath. And Kleb's like, he may be our best man, but can he withstand a punch from a frail woman with brass knuckles? A woman that weighs 106 pounds? Just punches him in the stomach after getting a rub down. It's like, what the fuck, man? It kind of hurt a little bit. Certainly kind of, knocked the wind out of me. Did you have a question for me? Or you just want to walk up to me and punch me in the gut? That's not cool. That's not fun. That's not nice. That's what's hot. So Tatiana reports to Kleb while Grant's like watching. Like, she's just not thinking like, this doesn't seem odd at all. Just like this abandoned, blown out building I'm going to meet. Like, we're not going to meet at the consulate. Just this shitty building. And I can't tell anyone about it. There's no alarms going off in your brain. So Kleb's like, yeah, you got to give like false information to the enemy and you'll be promoted or some bullshit. And she starts like quizzing her on her personal life. You've had 3 lovers. I was in love. It's like, Jesus, to all 3? Psycho, you fell in love 3 times? You're like 22 years old. Kleb's a lesbian, so she's like, take off your jacket. Turn around. Let's see that ass. You're a fine looking girl. And Tatiana's like, wish I could say the same for you. What was that? Nothing. So we cut to Bond. And this is just great. I love this scene. He's in his baby blues. He's with Sylvia Trench, drinking champagne, fucking in a boat, and gets a call to report to MI6. We'll do this again sometime soon. Do what? Last time you said that, you went off to Jamaica. It's like, yeah, after I made your head spin with my passionate lovemaking. I haven't seen you in 6 months. It's like, it was one night. I met you at the casino. You broke into my apartment, and we had sex, and I went to Jamaica. And this is the first time we're seeing each other since then. Like, Sylvia, behave. So we got to MI6, and M says that like this girl Tatiana fell for Bond from a picture that they have. And they kind of both know it's bullshit, it's a trap, and the bait is the Lecter, but it's worth looking into because, I don't know, because they want the Lecter. And Bond's like, unless she's fucking mental. And Tatiana apparently contacted Karen Bey in Turkey, saying she wants to defect and give the Lecter to the British, only if Bond went to get it and bring her back to England. So she's basically like, take the Lecter, whatever you want, I just want that British dick. And you can't blame her there. I mean, if I got a picture of Sean Connery, I'd be bi-curious, right? Wouldn't we all? What? And Bond's like, this is insane. And M's like, here's a picture of her. And he's like, okay, I'm in. I'll go right now. Where can I go right now? Where is she? You don't need a pack? No, it's this suit's fine. Blue. It's timeless. Can I go right now? Can I keep this picture? Great suit, by the way. It's like navy and light blue and a navy tie. I mean, the guy just looks fucking sharp. It's probably the best dressed he ever is in this movie. I think I've talked about this with Dr. No, maybe. I've worn something similar. I didn't look as good. Shocker. I didn't look quite as good as Sean Connery in From Russia with Love. Hey, I gave it my best shot, though. That's all you can do. I gave it my best shot. So we also get the first meeting with Q. He gets a briefcase with like ammo and a knife and gun in there and gold sovereigns and tear gas. It's got all kind of stuff. The briefcase is laughing. He's having a good time. They do treat him a little bit better than the last movie, though. Fucking attitudes on Dr. No. I still haven't forgotten. I hope you haven't. I don't forget. St. John Smythe. Elephant Brain. But they do treat him a little bit better in this movie. And he goes to Moneypenny for the usual flirting. Darling Moneypenny. I never look at another woman. And he takes off and signs a picture From Russia with Love. And Moneypenny says, hey, that's the name of the movie. And Bond lands in Istanbul. And it's one of those things in the airport, someone spots him, and then Grant's in the parking lot, so everyone's following everybody. And Bond's in the car, and he's like, we're being followed. And his driver's like, oh yeah, they follow us, we follow them. You know, it's just what we do here. And it's like, well, that's weird. And he's not doing a very good job following. They're just directly behind us, like 2 yards away for 45 minutes. I mean, we see you. So he finally gets to Karen Bay's place. And no one really seems to be worried that this is a clear trap. I mean, you know, at the end of a trap, you go for the bait and then you're fucked. But they're still going for the bait. Like, you're not taking any precautions. Like, maybe, I don't know, they're going to assassinate you once you get to the lector. You know, I'm not a spy. I'm not in that world, but I'd be a little scared. I'd be taking some precautions. I mean, they're clearly going to try to kill you. Is that not evident? And they're like, yeah, just go meet the girl somewhere, even though everyone knows it's a trap, and you're cool just going by yourself to meet her? Whatever. I'm not going to hammer the point home too much, but I mean, that's why they don't call him trap sense, Jimmy. They call him card sense. Because he doesn't have too much sense when it comes to traps. That's a good joke, huh? You like that joke I just made? It's funny. I bet you laughed. So Bond goes to the hotel. And that glasses dude from the airport, who I never really even know who that is, he seems worried about, I don't know what. He seems worried about something. And Grant's following Bond with this dead driver that was following them from earlier to frame Karen Bay and kind of get that Cold War. Let's start thawing it out. Let's get this war a little hot. And there's something else to it about the death with Karen. There's a lot of ins and outs, and sadly I wasn't focusing as well as I should. I was tuning in and out, so there's some things I may not be super accurate on. He's stirring the pot, okay? That's the best way to explain something when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Hey, he's stirring the pot. So Bond gets to this hotel. This is back when, he checks his room for gadgets and stuff and listening devices. Again, it's they just abandoned that idea after this movie. Fuck it. Just get to it. And he realizes that they bugged the hotel. I guess Kleb paid them to bug his room. I don't know who's bugging him. They're bugging me. I'll tell you that, though. Now he's got to change rooms at the bridal suite. And meanwhile, the Bulgarians bomb Karen Bay. Which, again, they just don't seem too worried about. They're like, oh, well, who would bomb me? That's weird. Oh, well. You want to go get lunch? So to go figure out who bombed them, they're like, let's go spy on this meeting with at the Russian consulate or whatever. They have this submarine telescope that goes into this meeting room, which I don't know how that works. No one can see that. No one can see this big telescope in there in the middle of the meeting. Can I stop you right there? Hey, we all see that telescope popping up from the floor right now, huh? It's not just me. Okay, good. So we're all in agreement that there's a telescope staring at us right now. Okay, just going to move on with the meeting. So Bond just stops caring about the meeting once he sees Tanya. How does she look to you? Well, from this angle, things are turning up nicely. I'd like to meet her in the flesh. Yes. It's good lord, man. You going to be all right, fella? He's just staring her down, forgetting about the actual meeting. And there's a shit ton of rats down there, too. There's some sort of fun fact in there about the rats, and I can't remember what it was. So, you're welcome for that. Send Smythe, maybe you can, look this shit up before you hit record. Just a suggestion. Just touch on these interesting little tidbits and then say, I don't know, look it up. Well, I didn't think of it till now. I know there was something with the rats. Something about them shipping them in and they didn't work out, so then I can't remember. There's something going on with the rats, though. You can quote me on that. So, after this little meeting, they spot Kirilenko. He's some assassin, kills for pleasure. It's not a good thing that Kirilenko's in town. So Karen Bay's it'd be better if you don't stay at the hotel tonight. You know what's safer? Gypsy camp. Guaranteed the people that want us dead won't attack there. So, cut to Bond and Karen go to the Gypsy Village, and what do you know? Kirilenko and all his minions and his crew, they're set to attack. They were there before Bond even got there. How the fuck did they know they were going to be there? And Red Grant's looking on this whole time. And Karen Bay's we come on the wrong night. 2 women are in love with the same man and want to kill each other. It's well, I beg to differ. That sounds fantastic. I would love to watch these savages kill each other. I mean, is anyone even guarding this place? Kirilenko and his men just walk right through. There's one guy they kill, and that's it. And then these girls start fighting, and it takes so long. And Karen Bay's like, whatever happens, do and say nothing. And Bond's like, yeah, that won't be a problem. I don't care about these girls. And am I supposed to care, like, as the audience? Like, dude, they did choreography for this fight. It lasts for like 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't give a shit about these girls. Am I supposed to? Because I don't. I'll tell you that. I don't care. And then the gypsies love Bond for obvious reasons. They're like, who might you be? You don't smell of filth like everyone else I've ever met. Looks like you've had a shower, maybe combed your hair, make an honest living. Don't hawk your possessions and cast spells on people. So the gypsies love Bond. And in the middle of all this, the Kirilenko's crew attacks. And we hear that 007 theme for the first time. Grant walks up in the fight like, look at these fucking people going mad on each other. I'm surprised Bond doesn't just leave in the middle of the fight. Like, fuck these people. Fuck gypsies. Karen, let's get the hell out of here, man. Who gives a shit? But these are my friends. No, they're not. They're gypsies, man. Who cares? They're not real people. So they have a big fight. Bond's just, like, picks up about 9 or 10 kills, like, real casually. He just, like, drops things on people and, like, randomly shoots people. I mean, Dr. No, they took time with his first kill. And this one, it's like, fuck it. He kills, like, 12 people just nonchalantly. And then the gypsies and Bond and Karen, like, end up winning the fight. And Karen Bay tells Bond, you fought well. Yes, I know. I always fight well. It's like, tomorrow we find Kirilenko's hideout. And the head of the Gypsy Village, Vera, he's like, Vera thanks you for saving his life. You are now his son. No, I'm not. Don't touch me, you filthy fucking hobo. I'm not your son. I'm not your friend. I don't like gypsies. I don't like bums. I don't like you people. Have I made myself clear? And then the head of the village, Vera, whatever, is like, why don't you just fuck both girls? Like, they both want to just bang you, and you can decide who gets to marry that guy. So both girls win, really. I mean, the husband must show up the next day, asking, like, so how was it decided? Like, who do I marry? Well, we both banged this, like, stranger that we met last night. A what? A what now? So we cut to Kirilenko's hideout. And Karen wants to kill Kirilenko, and they snipe him on that, like, Call Me Buana poster or whatever. He's, like, jumping out of her mouth or some bullshit. I don't know. That's a good description of it, huh? There's a fun fact. Call Me Buana was the next Harry Saltzman, Cubby Broccoli movie. That was back before they were like, we should just stop doing other things and just do Bond movies. That was their next big movie, and it didn't do shit. Shocker. So, you know, maybe my description of that scene isn't very good, but at least I gave you a fun fact in there. Huh? So, it's not all bad. So, Bond gets back to his room, the bridal suite, and Tatiana? What is it? I'm all of a sudden, like, drawing a blank on her name. Tatiana is in his bed. Get to see her naked, that's fun. This is the scene where they always, like, do for the auditions for every Bond, like Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan, Dalton. They do this scene because it's like you're seducing a girl, you're interrogating her, you have to be cool. Like, they use this scene for every Bond actor. So there's another fun fact. So I'm just like mixing in fun facts left and right. You don't know what's going on right now. Like when Bond orders his breakfast, green figs, yogurt. You imagine calling that in today? Sir, if you call here again with some bullshit order, security will be knocking on your door and you will be escorted off the premises. We have a room service menu. Yogurt and green figs. We don't have that shit. Get out of here. So anyway, he gets to Tanya's bed. I think my mouth is too big. What's the right size? For me, that is. So he asks about the lector, and it's at the Russian consulate. And he needs, like, plans of the place. And she's, like, already in love with him. It's like, fuck this mission. I'm like, I love him. And behind the wall, Kleb and all of them are just filming them banging. And Kleb's like, I'm going to go ahead and need a copy of this. Because this is fucking hot. So they agreed to meet at the mosque to exchange the plans of the Russian consulate. And that glasses guy, who I'm still not completely sure who he is, but he's there. He's just creeping around. Tanya leaves the plans for Bond. I'm not sure why they're leaving it here, but that's what they're doing. And the glasses guy tries to get it, and Grant says, no, sir, and just judo chops him to death because he wants Bond to get the plans so the whole mission will be completed. So Bond gets the lector so they can frame him and fuck him up. I'm not sure why they have to meet this mosque, because they meet at a boat right after this, and it's like, why didn't you just give them the plans on the boat? I mean, it's a pretty airtight movie, so I'm sure there's an explanation for it, but it escaped my grasp. I don't know what it is. And Bond sees the dead guy with the glasses, and he's like, who the fuck are you? He's thinking the same thing as the audience. Who the fuck is this guy? And after that, they're like, they don't know who killed him or why. Like, let's just say Istanbul's a rough town. It's like, that's it? Clearly something's going on here. This is a big-time trap, and people are dying left and right. They're attacking you twice out of nowhere. They're bombing your village. They're attacking gypsy camps. Glasses guy gets killed. Like, there's no red flags going off. There's no red grants going off. Dummies. So Karam thinks she's lying about the plans. My friend, she's got you dangling. It's like, she may be lying, but no woman has ever had me dangling. I do the dangling. They don't dangle me. I buy you out. You don't buy me out. So, like I said, Bond and Tanya, whatever, meet on a boat. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what her name is all of a sudden. Tatiana Romanova? I don't know. I want to say they call her both names. So they meet on the boat, and Bond's recording their conversation about the Lecter and sends it to M. And I just loved it. I mean, am I as great as all the girls? What does she say? Well, once an M and I were in Tokyo. So Bond and M have, like, gone through all the ladies in Tokyo before. That's just wonderful. That I would have liked. That's a movie we need to see. Bond and M just destroying the women of Tokyo. Can we get a prequel here? Everyone wants a reboot and a prequel. I got your idea right there. So once they see, like, the plans are good, they say move forward with the plan. Like, she's telling the truth about these the blueprints of this Russian consulate. So Bond goes to the consulate the next day, and Karam sets off that bomb. It's something that I've never understood, like the 13th and the 14th. Karam's like, the 13th. You want to do it, like, you want to take the plans on the 13th and bomb it? And Bond says, no, the 14th. And then they do it on the 13th. And then Tanya's like, I thought it was for tomorrow, the 14th. But today's the 13th. And Bond's like, well, it's a hell of a time to be superstitious. I never understood this. Can anyone explain that to me? Because I rewinded it a couple of times. I mean, I'm granted, I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? So anyway, they get the Lecter out of there, though, after the bombing. And they go on board the Orient Express. Which is just so great. Like, you see them get on the Orient Express, and, like, you see Grant on board as well, and Bond has no idea. So, like, the tension's just building. The tension just builds this whole movie between, like, because Grant does not have a starring role too much. He's just like a barely seen henchman just pulling the strings, and it's fucking brilliant. So, let's take a little break we actually don't have any advertisements for this movie. No one sent any in. Can you believe it? We do have some Bond news, though. That Amazon Prime, they're doing that TV show, like The Road to 007, to win $1 million or whatever. It's like The Amazing Race, basically. It sounds fucking lame. I mean, Bond fans, we are, like, so thirsty for Bond news. We're like, oh my god, like, what? Anything. Just give us anything. And they announced this. Oh, it's like a reality show, Amazing Race, and you get to win $1 million. I'm like, oh. Every fan was like, who the fuck cares? That sounds horrible. So, that's not getting my endorsement. But by all means, if you want to go check it out, I guess check it out. I'm not giving you the details. So, that's on you. And I've also been, just recently, this is like April right now, I just started watching the Bond movies on Saturday again. I took about a 6-month hiatus, so I haven't been recording anything. Plus, I got a new computer. And, I'll spare you the details on that. But I couldn't figure out how to put music on this thing until I actually, like, reserved 20 seconds one day to look it up online and finally figured it out. But between those two things, the burnout of No Time to Die and the new computer, took a hiatus. But, back to it. My first Saturday Bond movie, couldn't tell you why, but it was The Man with the Golden Gun. Had a great time with it. And then I watched, what did I watch? Goldfinger for the Masters weekend. And then I watched Dr. No last weekend, which was Easter. And right after that, I was like, what a fucking moron. You should have watched Octopussy because of the egg. Easter, egg, come on. Still mad about it. And today I watched License to Kill. So, back into it. Can't wait to watch, like, Thunderball, Moonraker, Spy Who Loved Me, Octopussy, Tomorrow Never Dies I'm looking forward to. World's Not Enough for some reason I've been thinking about. A lot of Bond movies. Can't wait. And I think I'm just going to keep doing all these movies. I mean, I might as well do all 24 over the next, year or two. It's my goal. It's an ambitious goal. But I'm going to try to do it. And there's the Bond news for this episode. Did you like that? I don't like that Amazon show, and I'm watching James Bond movies. That's the big headline. Breaking news here. So back to the movie. On the Orient Express, they pose as Mr. and Mrs. Somerset. And the plan is like stop the train and get a ride to the airport from Karam's son and fly to London with the Lecter. Mission over. And Bond gets her like some lingerie or whatever, and she just completely just wets herself. And she's like, I will do anything for you. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Because, you know, nothing more professional than buying your coworker some lingerie. I tried that at the Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network office for one of the secretaries. I got her some lingerie, and it didn't go over well. I just prefer to leave it at that. Okay? So just drop it. Didn't go over well. So Karam holds this like Russian security guy at gunpoint because they spotted him on the train. And Grant apparently goes in there and kills both the Russian security guy and Karam Bey. So like the conductor or whoever goes to Bond's room while they're going to get tea or whatever, Bond and Tanya. And he's like, you're a friend of Karam Bey? There's been a terrible accident. Come this way. And Tanya's like, no tea? Bitch, did you not hear what he just said? There's been a terrible accident. That usually means someone's dead. What about my cup of tea, though? I was going to have some tea? What? So, yeah, Karam's dead, which is just an awful death. This is like a real bummer. And apparently there's a Fleming cameo right here, which everyone's always talked about. That's not Ian Fleming, man. It's just not. I think Calvin Dyson did a video about this, like Bond myths. Everyone says that's Ian Fleming. That's not him, man. It doesn't look anything like him. It's not his build. It's not Ian Fleming. So I'm calling bullshit there. Now that we have like 4K and Blu-ray and all this stuff, we can actually see it ain't him. So I'm on record saying Ian Fleming was not in For Much With Love, and Dolly never had braces. And more on that in the Moonraker episode. But anyway, so obviously they don't stop the train, and like they just pass by Karam's son, and he's like, what the fuck? What's going on? Why are y'all just passing by me? Thought we had a plan, guys. So Bond goes back to his room, and he's coming in hot. He's got there's a madness to his eyes. And he starts interrogating Tanya and just starts smacking her around. I don't even think they put in like a sound effect for this one. You know, men of that era, they just like knew how to really slap a broad. There's just a bullseye on that and like one spot on the cheek and just whap. Just a wonderful sound effect. And he's just like, what the fuck? Who you been talking to? Why is Karam dead? What the fuck's going on? And she's just like too in love to even speak. She's like, I know I love you, James. I love you. I love you. And Bond's like, God damn it, this power that I have. Ugh. I can't get close to any woman. They just fall so madly in love with me. They just become like blubbering idiots. God damn it. Ugh, he's got the Kavorka. He can't do anything about it. So at the next stop, Bond has an agent, Nash, meet him. And Grant it's just so wonderfully shot. Bond's looking for Bond's looking for Karam's son. And Nash is, Jesus. And Grant's behind him, just following from the car, and Bond's outside the car. And it's just such a well-shot scene. And he's telling Karam's son that your dad's dead, and I'm going to meet, Nash at the next spot. So when they do get to the spot where Nash is supposed to meet him, Grant kills Nash and meets with Bond, and he has the whole, that passcode they've been using the whole movie. They've used it 4 times. It's like, may I borrow a match? In London, April's a spring month. Yeah, but my lighter broke. Do you have a pipe I can borrow? It's, something like that. So they get on the train, and Grant makes this ultimate mistake of ordering red wine with fish and just drugs Tatiana for rape. And Bond's like, wow, okay, rape, huh? Wow, all right. I guess I can get down with that. Wasn't expecting that. Didn't think that was necessary, but okay. Tanya is pouting so hard in this scene. Once he's pissed at her about Karam's death, she has just become comatose, not speaking, and then she gets extra comatose after being drugged. Now they're in that lazy part of the relationship. You ever had a buddy starts dating somebody, and after a few weeks, all the girl wants to do is just lay in bed all day and just do nothing? That's where Bond is at right now with this girl. She just wants to stay in bed. She wants to just snuggle for like weeks on end. And Bond's like, oh my God, I have things to do. Like Bond orders food and the waiter's like, what would you like? And she just like shrugs, like, what's the point? Just kill me. It's all over. If he doesn't love me, this guy I just met 2 days ago, if he doesn't love me, then what's the fucking point? I don't care about eating. And then she's like, I don't feel so good. I got diarrhea or whatever. So she leaves the table. So Bond sees Grant put that rape drug in Tatiana's drink, by the way. And so he puts a gun on him, and then Grant tries to like kind of talk his way out of it. And he starts telling Bond his escape plan, and then just knocks Bond out as he's doing that. So now the jig is up. Grant's like, here's our whole plan. I'm making you look like a fucking fool. You're a piece of shit, and I hate you. Keeps calling him an old man. Bond's kind of piecing it together, too. Like, Karam, the Russian agent, Nash. He's like, oh, yeah, I have killed a whole mess of folks since this thing has started. Like, I've been doing some work, son. And Bond's like, so the girl is working for Spectre? It's like, no, she thinks she's doing it for Mother Russia. He's like, well, then why kill her? He's like, why not? It's just so much fun. Do you have any idea how much fun I've been having this whole movie? I've killed so many people, and it's just been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Why aren't you killing more people? I mean, I know you kill a lot of gypsies. That must have been fun, but there's so many more people you could be killing, and animals. And then he starts talking about, like, the sex tape, as if Bond would give a shit about them releasing a tape of him having sex. And Bond's like, which lunatic asylum did they get you from? Which I fucking love that line. And just smacks Bond in the face. So Bond, like, briefcase fucks him. Like, he uses that tear gas or whatever. Something with the gold sovereigns. You know, using 2 different briefcases. I don't know how he actually gets it done, but he gets it done. Tear gas blows up in Grant's face. And we have one of our more iconic fights in the whole series. And stop me if you've heard it before, but Card Sense wins the fight. And the train stops eventually. And he tries to wake Tanya up, and she's just like, I have no will to live. She's just so needy. Like unconscious neediness. Hey, wake up, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And she's like, don't leave me, never leave me. She wants to snuggle in the grass when they get outside. I wish he'd just left. Like, oh, fuck it, man. I got the Lecter. Who gives a shit about this old broad? Don't leave me. Well, Tanya, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm leaving right now. So they have like this helicopter fight. It's kind of like a North by Northwest type thing. Which I do love this death. This guy's about to drop a grenade on Bond. And Bond shoots at the helicopter and makes them drop it. And they blow themselves up. That's just always fun. I don't even know how that helicopter's, like, why it's there. How do they know that shit didn't go as planned? You know, they never explained that to me. No one ever told me. And then after that, they take that truck and they get on a boat. And Bond, with that captain's hat on, is one of the funniest images in all of Bond. The fact that he feels the need to put a captain's hat on before getting on a boat is just brilliant. And meanwhile, number one is not too pleased about all this shit going south. And Kronstein throws Kleb under the bus instantly. He's like, Kronstein, you suck. Why didn't your plan work? And he's like, Kleb picked the guy. And my plan was perfect. I'm perfect, therefore my plan must be perfect. Therefore it has to work. Therefore, ipso facto, it had to have been Kleb that fucked it up. Because I already drew up the perfect plan. You said it yourself. He's like, we were dealing with Bond, though. Who is Bond compared to Kronstein? So one of his, like, random henchmen come in, and you think he's going to, like, stab Kleb with that poison-tipped shoe that he has, and he ends up stabbing Kronstein, and Kronstein's like, what the fuck? I wouldn't do that to you. And he gone. And then one's like, 12 seconds, we must improve our time. It's like he had a stopwatch on. And go. One day we must find a faster working venom. Why? Unless he has, like, the antidote in his pocket. Why do you need a faster working venom than 12 seconds? Stupid. A stupid thing to say. It's a dumb thing to put all your resources into, too. 12 seconds is fine, number one. I'll allow it. So, we cut back to Bond on the boat, and Spectre's attacking again. And Bond starts, like, dropping all the gas barrels. And Spectre, like, just slows down for I don't know what reason. They just, like, there's leaking gas all over them. And they're like, slow down. And then they just, like, completely stop. So they're just surrounded by leaky gas tanks. I'm like, what are y'all thinking? What are y'all doing? You're trapped, Mr. Bond. You're trapped. And Bond says, why don't you trap these balls? And just gets a flare gun in that captain's hat and shoots at the gas tanks, and it just explodes all their boats. And I tell you, the image of him with that flare gun and that captain's hat is one of my favorite images of Bond in the entire series. It's just brilliant. The fact that he has a fucking captain's hat on, and he's not shooting a gun, he just finds some flare gun, and he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to shoot him with that. I just love it. And as they're like getting exploded, they're like, change course. Like, oh, you think so? Don't keep doing what we're doing. We're on fire right now, asshole. We're dying. It's like they seem to like sneak these 2 action sequences in at the end of the movie, because we haven't had much action other than like the gypsy camp. So they just like shove these in after the train real quick. So Bond escapes from Spectre, and he goes back to his hotel room, and Rosa Klebb walks in as a maid, and then she reveals that little poison tip shoe that she has. So they start having a poison tip fight, which it looks like a comedy when they get started, because it's just like filming them from the waist down, and Bond's got a chair. It's just, and I guess Tatiana just thought she could just leave, defect, just because like she fell in love, and she ends up shooting Klebb. So number 3's dead, number 5's dead, Grant's dead. Everybody, they gone. And after Klebb's dead, like she's got that gun in Bond's face, and he's like, get this fucking gun away from me. What a horrible woman. Yeah, she's had her kicks. That is like a top 3 pun for me. She's had her kicks. So they cut to Bond and Tanya on a boat. Like throws out their porno tape or whatever. James, behave yourself. We're being filmed. And James like, not again. Like, what do you mean? Oh, I forgot to tell you. They filmed us having sex, and this is the tape. What? So they start just having sex on that gondola or whatever. And the public is like, oh my God, are those 2 people having sex on that boat in front of everybody? And he does like that weird like wave with the film, and then we get in credits. So, there's From Russia with Love. The reviews at the time, I don't really know what the reviews were at the time. I didn't look that up. But I know the reviews now are, this is the best Bond movie of all time. It's always this and Casino Royale, generally considered to be the best. And every time I watch it, I agree with that. It's not my favorite. I'm not even sure if it's in my top 10. But every time I watch it, I'm like, God damn, this is just a well-made movie. This is excellent. This is the cream of the crop. It's just, I mean, with the Cold War and all these different little things, that make all the espionage, there's not a whole lot of action, which I think makes it even better. It's a brilliant fucking movie. And I've finally learned to appreciate it. It's not a go-to movie for me. I don't find it to be like just a joy, like a Roger Moore kind of movie, or even like a Goldfinger type movie that's just kind of endlessly watchable. You can just keep watching it over and over. I watched this. This is like a classy Bond movie. I watched this like with a bottle of red wine and, you know, a nice meal on a Friday night. You pop on From Russia with Love. This is not like a Saturday morning with a mimosa kind of movie. You know what I mean? Or it's not for me anyway. Brilliant fucking movie. And it's kind of become like the movie they all go to when they like want to get back to their roots. Like, all right, we need to make like a From Russia with Love type movie. They did it like with Lazenby. They did it with Moore a couple of times. They did it with Dalton. They've done it with Brosnan. They've done it with Craig. We need to like do a From Russia with Love kind of movie. They just are obsessed with this movie. It was kind of like, it used to like be the forgotten movie to me, because like, well, Dr. No's the first one. Goldfinger is the iconic one. Thunderball, I don't know, was always just huge. Everyone knew Thunderball. You Only Live Twice was the Japan movie, and you finally get to see Blofeld. But like From Russia with Love, I never really paid attention to as a kid. So I never liked this one before. Skyfall, I wasn't a big fan of it. But man, every time I watch it, I'm like, this is solid. Connery is brilliant in it. Just as good as he was in Dr. No. I think he's probably a little bit better in Goldfinger than he is in this. Tanya is not my favorite Bond girl, if you couldn't have guessed. Not a big fan of hers. Not sure what happens to her after. I'm assuming she gets murdered. I mean, Russia, someone's going to murder her. Either Bond for just being annoying, or Mother Russia is going to be like, you did what now? Okay, you're fucking toast. And no one will ever know about this. Karen Bay is usually the number one ally. Like, if you take a poll of Bond fans, the best ally of all time is Karen Bay. Draco, I really like, though, on Her Majesty's Secret Service. He actually had, like, cancer filming this. And he had to, like, film his scenes real quick. And then he just, like, ended up... Shit, he, like, killed himself or something. He had to finish his scenes to get his money for his family. And then he killed himself before he died of cancer. Boy, how about a fun fact there, huh? That's like a Dalton fun fact. I'm just going to cheer you up at the end of this podcast by telling you this horrible freaking suicide cancer story. Well, you know, thoughts and prayers, but I still like Karen Bay. The henchman, Red Grant, he's kind of like a Mount Rushmore kind of henchman. I'd say him and Oddjob and Jaws and I don't know who, maybe the Baron. I'd put them on Mount Rushmore. Like Red Grant is... And they've tried to recreate the blonde henchman so many fucking times with Necros and with... who's that stupid dude from For Your Eyes Only? That dipshit. We've had so many blonde henchmen. Stamper. Who else was a blonde-haired henchman? Boris? He had... What? The villain, Rosa Club was pretty good. Like middle of the road for me. I love number 1 though. I'm a big number 1 fan. Love that villain. So there's From Russia with Love. Fun facts. I've already gone through a few. Some were fun. Some were not so fun. Terrence Young apparently didn't like Danielle Bianca's, that's Tatiana's legs, so they replaced her with a double during the Periscope scene. I don't even know if that's true. I don't remember even writing that. But you know, it's right there, so it's got to be true, right? This is one of 3 movies where Bond doesn't wear a tux. This and Live and Let Die and You Only Live Twice. Unless you count the pre-title sequence. That's not actually Bond, but he's technically wearing a tux. Sean Connery is. And then, you know, let's not forget about the rats fun fact that you still have to go look up. And once you look it up, you're going to have so much fun with that fact. That's why we call it fun facts. So that's From Russia with Love. My next movie will be, I think, I'm hoping for No Time to Die. That motherfucker's like 2.5 hours long, though, man. And the guy goddamn dies at the end. So I'm not looking forward to it. Spoiler alert. I like to say spoiler alert after I give you the spoiler. That's just some of the fun we like to have at the Drunk Bond Podcast. So we will see you next time. Adios.